Cocaine Bear is a 2023 dark comedy action thriller. Directed by Elizabeth Banks and written by Jimmy Warden. It stars O'Shea Jackson Jr., Keri Russell, and Ray Liotta. The story's about a 500-pound black bear that consumes a large amount of cocaine and goes on a drug-fueled rampage. So I just got back from checking out Cocaine Bear, and off the top, this movie was so much fun. I loved it. Before any of you guys comment this, I know it's based on a true story, or very, very, very loosely based on a real story. The real story is basically the bear got a hold of some cocaine, they found it dead. That's the end of the story. They said it may have lasted up to 30 minutes before it died. There's not much else to that story. This is what if. This is basically a story of what if this bear got a hold of this cocaine and was able to survive and went on this crazy, wild, drug-fueled rampage. But it's everything and more than you see in the trailer. It has that tone that you see in the trailer, the hilarity. It never stops. It's silly. It's goofy. It doesn't take itself serious whatsoever, even more so than I feel like it shows in the trailer. If you expect there to be any real seriousness whatsoever in this movie, then you're going to the wrong movie. But if you're wanting to see something that just makes you laugh, that you just have a great time with, really lighthearted and entertaining, then this is a perfect gem. One of the things that really surprised me was just how hard they leaned into the gore. This movie gets very, very gory. Shows some body parts, you name it, guts hanging out, just everything and in between when it comes to gore. And it's just so much fun the way it's done. Every character in this movie has a moment in the sun, and they're a blast. Every single one of them just really have charisma and bring a good laugh or chuckle to the screen. You could just really tell that the cast was having a great time with this because it just oozes off the screen. This is an entertaining, just absolute fun ride kind of movie. It's the kind of movie that I hope we see more of. It's a real strange hybrid because it almost has that 90s, early 2000s family comedy kind of flavor and feel to it, but yet it's very hard R, gory, foul language, crude humor, all of the R-rated stuff. And it's just they smash the two together and it makes for a really fun comedy action thriller. I think in a lot of ways it was Deadpool that kind of laid the foundation, the groundwork for this type of action thriller comedy, because it's actually really funny, but it also has great action and just a really entertaining approach at making this exciting movie. But everything about it is almost cartoon level. There's never a moment where you're going to feel scared or even on the edge of your seat, in my opinion, because it's very clear that this is a CGI bear. There's never a moment where it really looks or feels like a real bear, but that's kind of the whole point. That's the whole campiness about this movie, because not only are they trying to make the bear look a little bit cartoony, but they have the bear doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And especially as it gets closer and closer to the end, this bear just does some straight up Looney Tunes level type of stuff, but it makes sense. It works for what they're trying to do here. I was able to see it at an early screener, and the house was packed and everybody applauded after the movie was over. Everybody seemed to have a good time with it. I just think that it's one of those movies that as long as you kind of know what you're going there for, you know you're wanting to see something silly, something goofy, something that really leans into that and doesn't try to be serious at all, doesn't try to have any statements. That's another thing I really liked about this is too often these days when we do get something that's funny, it seems to have some political leanings or some commentary about some real world issues and things like that. This really didn't. At least nothing that I picked up on. I'm sure someone will find something, but for me, it was really just about having a great time, and I loved that it flashed back to the 80s because I love 80s music, and it's full of that 80s music. It's full of that 80s charm and wardrobe and just the way people talk, and I found that to be really charming as well because it just has this light silliness to it that isn't necessarily what the 80s were really like, but more so the way 80s have become portrayed. And I think that's more what they were kind of trying to go for in this, a Miami Vice, spoof kind of vibe, not so much what the 80s really were. But it never felt like it was trying too hard with the humor. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel too spoofy. It walks that fine line, I think, really, really well, that everybody involved plays their roles straight. Everything is played straight, and that's what makes it so funny when they set up these situations, because it isn't a movie that's telling jokes. It's more of situational comedy, which I think when it's done right can be the most funny, and they did this really well. Like, I have not seen something that I would think of as a comedy that I've had a great time with in a while. And as much as this is action and a thriller, it's also very, very much a comedy. But I'm glad it did have at least some gore and some thriller-ish type of stuff so that I could cover it here on my channel, because I don't really lean into comedy or action or any of that. But because it does have a little bit of that, and it definitely has plenty of gore, I felt comfortable covering it here. And I highly recommend it. If you're wanting to go out and just have a good time, nothing serious, something to just really have popcorn, like a popcorn action thriller comedy kind of situation at the movies, I think you cannot ask for a more entertaining, fun movie. So I highly recommend you get out to a theater and check this out as soon as you can.
We have such good luck in nature.
But that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that's the best way to keep track of this channel and when I post videos like this. And I try to post videos like this at least once every single week. And I also want to give a huge, massive thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew. You guys over on Patreon and the channel members over here. You guys mean so much to me. Your support just... it really humbles me. It really does. And if you would like to find out how you can help support this channel and become a member over on Patreon or a member over here, there's a link down in the description for Patreon, and there's a button that says membership right down there. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun! If you enjoyed this, click right here to see my review of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. And I'll see you guys next time!